Hey, Paul, it's rare that we have time at the end of the call like this. Do you mind if I jump in? I might try to stump you on a couple of things, but we do have, as I look at the 2024 crystal ball, and I know I don't want to steal your thunder for next week, but there are, I mean, I don't want to say unprecedented, but there are a number of political and market-based decisions that are before the court, the Supreme Court. What are we looking at next year from a sort of an activity and decision making standpoint? Does it seem as unprecedented to you as it does to me?
There's big cases every year, but we have the social media cases that are pending. Those are huge. Our basic thinking has been, the blooms off the rose on social media, people going after them hard. There's a lot of negative things about how they craft and offer their product. And there's the political case, should they basically be prohibited from deplatforming candidates or discriminated against political views? They have to be able to do that. If they can't content moderate to the fullest, you have chaos. Look what's happening at Twitter, X. When there's too much political chaos on your platform, it drives advertisers away. So it cuts to the bottom line. So to the extent the Supreme Court makes, and they'll decide in June about the parameters involving political content moderation, again, just a few months before the general election, that has a huge impact on their bottom line in terms of whether or not they have complete First Amendment freedom to curate the content, political content on their platforms. That's really, really important to how they design their product and attract advertisers and maintain and keep advertisers. And then the other big issue is not so much of the Supreme Court, but this product liability suit, basically. You think about what happens when, like J&J and their talc powder, baby powder case and that kind of, when you have these big product liability things, when the market really begins to focus on them, they can become a real overhang on a stock. And, this whole thing about whether, Facebook drives people to, suicide, emotional, physical, addiction harms. Again, you have hundreds of school districts, 40 states involved, a bunch of individuals. When that case really, really, and it's a big multi-district litigation going on in California, when people really begin to focus on that, what will be the impact of that? That's something that people need to think about, particularly on social media next year. And of course, the big thing is the wealth tax case. And we've already told people we don't think they'll decide that in any way that resolves the wealth tax issue, whether you can tax stock price appreciation even without selling the stock. That we don't think the Supreme Court's going to decide that issue. There's a couple of other things going on. And of course, the big cases will be what happens, the political stuff. If the Colorado Supreme Court or any other Supreme Court at the state level makes a decision on the 14th Amendment and Trump's eligibility to hold office, then that will go to the U.S. Supreme Court. And that's a coin toss if it gets there. So, those are some of the big things.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.